Ranging from animals that are so small they can perch on the tip of a match head, to animals that are so incredibly tiny you wonder how they even got discovered. Welcome to the list of the top 5 smallest animals in the world. The Barbados thread snake. As you can probably guess by the title, this snake can be found in the Caribbean islands of Barbados. It's also known as the spaghetti snake because it's literally the same width as a piece of spaghetti. Averaging at around 4 inches in length, this snake is the world's smallest species of snake. Not much is known about the Barbados thread snake as it was only discovered around 6 years ago, but so far we know they aren't venomous or even aggressive, and that they have very unique scales, colour and pattern. I know I said they can only be found in Barbados, but it gets a little more specific than that. They can only be found in a very small patch of forest on the eastern side of Barbados. These snakes are blind and spend most of their time underground, only coming to the surface when rain floods their burrows and they have to leave. So basically they act like worms. You may wonder what something this small likes to gobble for dinner. The answer to that is tiny things. Very, very tiny things like termites and larvae. The Brookesia microchameleon, the smallest species of chameleon in the world. The chameleon has a natural ability to blend in, and that coupled with how small this little critter is makes it nearly impossible to find. They were discovered in 2012 by a group of scientists. How they discovered something this unbelievably small is beyond me. They are most commonly found in Madagascar, and both sexes of these little chameleons grow to a maximum length of around 30mm. These guys are so small they can easily perch on the tip of a match. These mini-melians are an evolutionary victim of dwarfism, and this phenomenon occurs when a species becomes smaller over evolutionary time in order to adapt to a restricted habitat, such as an island. Soon it could quite easily become extinct, and that's due to illegal logging currently going on in Madagascar's forests, and the fact that they are incredibly sensitive to habitat destruction. The speckled padloper tortoise. Try saying that 10 times in a row. This little chap can be found in South Africa and grows to a maximum length of 3 inches. This turtle is the smallest species of turtle in the world, and it's also known as the speckled Cape tortoise. They weigh an unbelievable 3 ounces, and the term padloper translates to trail walker, as they can usually be found travelling along trails and pathways very, very slowly. The honeycomb shell of the padloper is slightly rounded, and the female shells are a little bit bigger than their male counterparts. And that's because they need the extra room for egg growth. The top of the male shell is light brown with dark brown speckles, whilst the female shell is darker with fewer speckles. These cute little tortoises start their mating ritual by swinging their tiny little heads back and forth. Then the female goes on to lay a single egg, sometimes 2 in the summer. However, their numbers are slowly dwindling as they have several threats against them, including loss of habitat, construction of highways and poaching for the pet trade. All that coupled with their low egg count is unfortunately making it very difficult for this tortoise to survive. The bumblebee bat. Sometimes referred to as the kitty hognose bat. This is the smallest bat in the world. It's so small that you might actually confuse one for a bumblebee if it went buzzing past you in the night, hence the name. They average around 29 to 33mm in length, they have no tail, and they have a wingspan of approximately 170mm. Their body is a reddish brown in colour with grey upper parts, and their undersides are usually pale. They also have wide wings with long tips that enable them to hover. They have a rather strange pig-like nose, small eyes and relatively large ears. In between their legs you'll find a large web of skin. This is to help them buzz around and fly much easier. They are most active at dusk, zipping around tea trees and patches of bamboo looking for insects to devour. Unfortunately, these miniature bats are listed as vulnerable and are in danger of becoming extinct, and that's because of us humans. Collectors like to collect them, and tourists keep disturbing their habitat. There are around 300 known species of octopus in this world, and the octopus wolfie is considered the smallest. While some other octopuses can have an arm span of around 4.3 meters, this ultra tiny octopus is 1.5 centimeters in total. The octopus wolfie was discovered over 100 years ago in 1913, and they're also known as the starsucker pygmy octopus. A full-grown wolfie weighs less than a gram, and the males feature a fringe-like rim on their suckers, which is considered a very rare trait. Mostly found swimming around in shallow coral reefs in places such as the Philippines, Thailand and Australia. But unfortunately not much more is known about this incredibly small octopus. And that brings my list of the top 5 smallest animals in the world to an end.